NTA News.
The federal government has trained and empowered no fewer than 600 smallholder farmers, including artisans, on crop value chain production in Ogun State to boost food security. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The participants, drawn from the 5 local government areas of Ogun West Senatorial District, were exposed to modern methods of growing crops which include proper land preparation, high-yielding pest-resistant varieties, efficient market linkages, supply chains for value addition, among other best practices. Other participants were also trained as beauticians for self-sufficiency.
Whatever we do, how robust it is going to affect the continuity of either the maize value chain, the vegetable value chain, or the cassava value chain.
Some of the trainees appreciated the federal government for giving them adequate information needed to improve their farming and vocational capacity.
I've actually been thinking of how to get a place, a plot of land, and start my vegetable farming, because we were taught from the scratch to the finishing.
I'm going back to maize farming now because in what I had there, if I continue, I believe the sky is my limit.
I can grow some plants in less than 1 month, 2 months. I was told how to harvest without getting out of stock.
The trainees also received startup funds and equipment at the training, which was facilitated by Ogun West Senator Tulu Odebi. From Ilaro, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
The federal government has paid more than 4 billion naira claims to 357 out of the 776 claims reported as of September 2022 in the key performance indexes on settlement of claims. The head of Civil Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, said this during an engagement with underwriters of the group life insurance policy for federal civil servants. Haman Jabani has more.
The engagement is to bridge the existing gap between the underwriters and brokers to stop repeating things without achieving meaningful results. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi Esau, says federal government is doing its best to improve the welfare of families of diseased workers through the prompt release of funds for the payment of death benefits, while the underwriters and brokers are frustrating the effort by their unserious attitude, adding that this non-performance will no longer be accepted. She said that from the breakdown of the report, there is a clear indication of a huge gap between the number of claims reported and those paid, and that there is a need for improvement from the insurance service providers.
We have not hit even 40% claim payments. That is claim payment. And I'm wondering, what are we doing wrong? There must be a problem. If it were bought from my records, we have paid completely. And so what exactly is happening?
The underwriters made a firm commitment to support the head of service by doing the needful to bridge the gap between the underwriters and the brokers, which they identify as a major issue responsible for late payment of claims to families of departed civil servants. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Key players in the hospitality and tourism sector have described the hospitality and tourism training arm of the federal government NPower program as one of the most successful of the social intervention programs. At a reception in Abuja to honor some of the centers that have performed excellently well, the Institute for Tourism Professionals of Nigeria and the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism said the training has empowered several youths and women.
We are doing this program in coordinating and implementing the Empower program, and hundreds of thousands of youths are benefiting, providing them with safe gain employment.
The assessment was based not only on how they handle the in-class activity, but also how they have been able to coordinate the apprenticeship program.
3 outstanding centers emerged best among so many others across the country.
This is great. It means that we have a future for our youths in Nigeria.
I feel honored by this award
at least I make my state proud today.
Federal government NPA program has about 251 centers offering programs for the hospitality and tourism trade in the country. Recently, the FCT Ministerial Task Team on City Sanitation demolished the popular Panteka at Mpape, which was followed up by a raid operation of the FCT Police Command to address the threat to security in that area. Residents say the people are now at the mercy of the dislodged suspected criminals from the colony who now maim and rob victims at will. Onotu Yakubu in this report feels the pulse of residents of Mpape.
We need security. Not even only Panteka place. Even to Mashafa Road, they have been killing people there every time. Even Mpape here too. Even this Panteka, they have been killing people there. Starting phone, like an 8-7:30.
The demolition exercise by the FCT task team on city sanitation at the Panteka here in Mpape was part of efforts to bring sanity to the security situation of the environment. And from feelers from residents, the security situation rather got worse than it was before the demolition exercise. Patrick Daniel is a commercial motorcyclist, resident and doing business in Mpape. His account of experiences due to the nature of his job tells a lot about the anarchy that has become the tale of security challenges in the densely populated community. Armed robbery, attacks on unsuspecting residents to dispossess them of valuables, and murder are a common feature of the threat to security in Mpape.
It used to happen even in the daylight. They used to strike people and collect their bike, collect their money. And even it's early morning also, it's very dangerous. If you have your bike, it is advisable not to go at the back of this cross truck.
For respite, leadership of the youth groups in Mpape are rallying support for the police through stakeholder engagements to strengthen community policing aimed at arresting the situation before it gets out of control.
I think when the DPO now called the stakeholders of Mpape, we actually have a meeting and he make a suggestion to us too, what he believe we can do to support the police to be able to reduce the crime. And he advised us by having local vigilantes, by working with the police, giving them information too. The police people sincerely has actually been responding.
From that 18th of last month till 30th of last month up till now, at least we can have some rest. You can walk freely with your phone, you can answer your call, you can sleep with your eye closed for now.
Residents appeal for deployment of more manpower and logistics to the area to enable them meet the high expectations towards addressing the security challenges. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Former President of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, says the key to safekeeping of Nigeria's forests lies in the hands of the hunters because they have already mastered the terrain of forests in their locality. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo stated this at his Hilltop Presidential Library, Abeokuta, Ogun State, while receiving in audience the Commander General of the Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Services. He expressed that for the first time in the history of the country, hunters nationwide came together under one umbrella and are speaking with one voice to rise up to the security challenges bedeviling the nation. He charged them to always protect the unity and peaceful coexistence of the citizenry of the country. Responding, the Commander General, Nigerian Hunters and Forest Security Services Ambassador Joshua Osati-Mehin, appreciated the former President for welcoming the services and informed him of the achievements recorded by the hunters so far, while awaiting the presidential assent to the bill of the service into law to enable them perform more effectively. 4 days after the kidnapping of 32 burial guests along the Benin-Ifon Expressway, Ondo State, Police Command is assuring of their prompt rescue. This was while parading some suspected criminals before journalists in Akure, Ondo State. Toyin Batire has details.
The 32 victims were kidnapped while traveling to Akure in a coastal bus from a burial ceremony held in Benin City, Edo State, on Saturday, 3rd September 2022. Some of the victims reportedly escaped, while others are still in the kidnappers' den. Police authorities say even though the abductors are demanding for ransom, security operatives will ensure that the victims are rescued unhurt.
So far, we still have our men there. The army and the police are still there. And other state agencies too have joined us. Ever since this issue happened, they've been there and they are not leaving the bush. The anti-kidnapping squad too are there. We are aware that they've called and we are still making some of our moves to ensure that they are released or not.
The police also paraded suspected criminals with various degrees of crimes bordering on kidnapping, rape, illegal bunkering, and murder. Some of them confessed to the crime, while others denied.
We have another case of a 17-year-old boy who defiled 2 4-year-old girls. I think this is for parents especially. These are perilous times. Don't leave your children anyhow. He claimed he wanted to buy water from the compound, and when he saw the 2 girls playing, he took them to an uncompleted building close to the house and he defiled the children.
The suspects are expected to be charged to court after full investigations. In Akure, Toyin Batire, NTA News.
Still on security issues, the Kogi State Police Command has set up a team of tactical operatives to the scenes of the robbery attack on UBA, First and Zenith Banks in Ankpa for an on-the-spot assessment. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer William Aya says the Commissioner of Police Edward Egbuka has ordered the deployment of additional operational assets consisting of operatives of the Police Mobile Force and other security agencies to apprehend the suspects and restore normalcy in the area. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force urges members of the public to go about their lawful businesses as they continue to collaborate with the police and other security agencies with credible and timely information on the activities of criminal elements in their environs. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria have acknowledged the successes recorded in recent times towards mitigating insecurity challenges across the country. They, however, urged intergovernmental collaboration and synergy between state governments and security agencies in sustaining the gains made so far by pressing hard on the terrorist and criminal elements. Abdusalam Jubril reports.
Fight on, fight on. Fight on and fight on was the resounding call by Brigadier General John Temlong towards sustaining the ongoing fight against insecurity across the country. Some of the guests, including Commissioner of Information Zamfara State and that of Kaduna State, who is in charge of internal security and home affairs, harped on more intelligence gathering, prompt action and citizens' cooperation as effective tools towards tackling the current asymmetric warfare.
No matter how the governors come together, no matter how they strategize, if those objecting the weapons and the conflict entrepreneurs are not dealt with, this problem, I'm sorry, will persist.
We've seen a lot of synergy. We've also seen a lot of deployment of troops. The Operation Thunder Strike has been strengthened. The Operation Wild Punch also are doing so much.
Governors are coming together with all the security commanders, discussing the situations in their areas and see how the military or the security people will come up with plans to deal with those things so that these people do not move from point A to B.
Security analyst Kabiru Adamu and the other guests identified the roles of some ex-service personnel in gun-running channels, urging the adoption of adequate measures against their influence.
Do we even have a data of ex-servicemen in this country? Unfortunately, no, and General can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe the military has, but I doubt even if the military's data is comprehensive.
They also expressed optimism on the capabilities of the security agencies, stressing that no respite should be given to bandits, terrorists, as well as those peddling in crime and criminality. In Abuja, Abdul Salam Jubril, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. Let's join Michael in Lagos for more stories. Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has been advised to ask not only what the government can do for the union, but seeks what they can do for the country. These were the views of some Nigerians as they urged the union to seek the collective good of the nation by calling off the strike in the interest of the country's educational system. Amaka O reports.
The ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, which began on February 14, 2022, is considered one of the longest in the history of the union, established in 1978 and has over 50 higher institutions under its umbrella.
My ID card says 2021. That's the expiry date of my ID card. And now it's 2022 and I'm still in school.
It's a national calamity, a disaster of no measure.
I haven't seen it for 30 years. I think it's all in good faith. I think that what they are doing is destroying the faith of Nigerians in the Nigerian institution, destroying the faith of Nigerians in the Nigerian academic system, all right? And deliberately or indeliberately, they are ruining the reputation of Nigerian universities.
Considering that these strikes have huge setbacks on the educational system, which include loss of revenue, academic redundancy, exposure to societal hazards, and many more, it has become worrisome that the damage is enormous.
It's going to have an effect on them because they might be dejected due to this. Their life goals is low-key cut short. And this can also bring some anxiety symptoms, even depressive symptoms.
They say where two elephants fight, the grass, suffers. So the students are suffering the more. And then parents too are affected, Even the economy around the universities is also affected.
There is dilapidation of facilities going on. When you don't use facilities, houses, laboratories, libraries, you are not using them. They go bad. Obsolescence takes over. Then we now come back. This is another wastage.
Solutions to ending this recurring decimal that poses as a disadvantage to the advancement of youthful development remains urgent, as some are of the view that it takes time for those involved to make sacrifices.
Yes, rehabilitation work on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has entered the final phase, suggesting imminent handover to the federal government. Adenitawo reports that road markings are already being carried out on the 127-kilometer highway.
A lot has gone into changing the story of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Apart from the federal government, which sustained its commitment to timely completion of the project by providing resources, the two contractors kept up the pace of work, while motorists kept faith, bearing the hard times that often come with road construction. Now, after many years, the highway takes on this new look, adorned with yellow stripes of unbroken lines on the edges and white broken lines marking out lanes. Kolawole Ogunfowokon lives at Magboro, one of the communities on the fringe of Section 1 of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. He has been monitoring the progress of the project, and for him, this indeed is a good sign.
For you to see at night, because you see the traces at night when you are driving, and for you to know your lane and to know how to maneuver.
George Agbo, one of the workers undertaking the painting, describes the markings as silent instructors for motorists.
This yellow show you danger when close to this side. This white, we call it broken line. You will be inside there, but when you are about to overtake, you can overtake when your front is clear.
The road marking is telling you it's ready for delivery. That's the final furniture on the road. Now, on this particular road, the stretch is starting from this old toll gate up to Shagami Interchange, which is a stretch of 43.6 kilometers. We have successfully completed, from Challenge 11 down to 43.6, which is Shagami Interchange. We have carried out the markings.
Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Raji Fashola had expressed federal government's commitment to a December 2022 completion timeline. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time for some messages, and when we return, the news continues from our Enugu Network Center, where Comfort is standing by.
Oh boy, this one where your eye red. You carry machete, you see carry gun. Wetin you want take am do sef?
After the para like this, I don't vex.
Oh boy, calm down down now.
Like this, I dey go scatter those some businesses. You know, they take our people businesses, eh? You don't see see, I dey go there, I dey go show them better credit. They never see anything.
If you destroy their own for here, and they destroy your people own for that side, especially that your brother where they send you money, that way don't block, oh. How you go take survive?
See, this way talk not true. But I still dey vex.
Boy, calm down. Make we embrace peace. We peace and unity. Everybody.
My people, make we gum body with peace and unity. Make we learn to live as brothers and sisters, so that we country go fit move go permanent sides. This message now from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination? Now, imagine the victim who cannot reach out to these responders, who doesn't even have the phone to reach out. Hello, thank you very much for joining us on platform. I'm Ruth Agwe.
And the girl, especially if the girl is a minor, she's not yet 18 years, if she gets pregnant, realize that such girl is sent out of school and the boy is left in school.
Just to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is the FRS?
I don't agree. A lot of people are just deaf.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu Network Center. Education, an important resource for human development, is said to be the bedrock of any nation. This is the reason key players in the education sector in Enugu State want the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to shift grounds on some of its demands, while the federal government, on their part, should come up with a lasting solution to end the lingering ASU strike. Chinenye Nwoye reports.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, seems to be getting more intractable. After 6 months of strike, which began on the 14th of February this year, the union, after its NEC meeting last week Monday, took a decision to extend the strike indefinitely. Students are the ones directly bearing the brunt of the strike.
By this time, I'm meant to be in school, trying to complete my studies and also reduce the amount of years I'm going to stay in school.
The overbearing socio-economic influence of the strike is not only felt by the students, but by their parents and the society at large.
This strike now has caused many students are at home, thereby increasing the rate of crime, because they say idle man is devil's workshop.
You have rape, you have armed robbery, because these are young people who work with their peers. And there's a lot of peer group influence.
Even lecturers, our children are here. Our children are part of the school system. Our children are at home. And the worst is that federal government has stopped the salaries of lecturers since March.
Bearing in mind the importance of education, some lecturers in some of the state universities, like the Enugu State University of Science and Technology, ESUT, voluntarily remained in class.
The strike, like in any way, it didn't affect my school in any way, because I think I've been going to school. I have lectures almost every day.
There's no way all the demands of ASU can be met by the government. ASU must postpone some of their demands, and government must shift ground.
Government must regard education as a top priority. Educational staff should not see strike as the first cause of reaction.
While the strike lasts, a wide ground awaits the students to cover. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
Engaging students during the holiday, especially in skills acquisition, key players in education sector say involves creative thinking for productivity. In this report, Chimaroke Ubu examines the best way to engage students meaningfully during the holiday.
The holiday season is an exciting period for students, as all they want is to enjoy the whole period with their friends and family. According to educationists, it is very important to maximize the holiday season, as it is the duty of teachers and parents to keep their expectation for their wards high.
Getting educated is no longer enough to run through life. The economic challenges of running through life demands that you add to your education skill, and if possible, add to your skill business.
The government have mapped out a program we call Skill Fest, Festival of Skills, during this long vacation. And this program is meant to catch the youths while in school and out of school.
For some students, engagement during holiday season will give them the opportunity to learn and unlearn outside the classroom.
Engaging myself during the holidays is actually engaging my mind. So I'm having something to do and I'm actually learning something that will profit me in the future.
It helps me keep my brain active.
These experts maintain that the focus should be on developing lessons that will teach valuable skills, while also helping young students learn their curriculum and burn extra energy. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
And as a contribution from Enugu is back to Lydia in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Comfort. The purpose of sanctions under the law is to ensure adherence of members of the society to rules and regulations. In a bid to achieve this, the Nigerian legal system is now undergoing reforms towards ensuring the humane treatment of offenders as it holds consultations on ways of enhancing the non-custodial sentencing model. Olabo Diarewa reports.
A marked feature of a criminal trial is to obtain the conviction or acquittal of a defendant. Typically, the convicts are sent to correctional centers to serve their sentences, except for juveniles who are sent to remand homes for reformation. Not many people are aware of the coming into existence of new measures under the administration of Criminal Justice Act and the Nigeria Correctional Service Act, providing for simpler measures that reform, rehabilitate, and reintegrate offenders into the society. For instance, under the non-custodial measures being championed by the administration of Criminal Justice Monitoring Committee or the Federal Ministry of Justice and other partners, Over 23,000 convictions have been achieved already, with offenders made to either pay fines, do community service, or some other actions, depending on the peculiarity of the case.
We appreciate that community service is perhaps the most visible area that's being practiced presently, but we believe that issues around restorative justice, we are also very much interested.
Appreciates that we must consider the issues of reformation.
Although an implementation committee to drive the non-custodial measures is yet to be inaugurated, its positive effects are already manifesting in the decongestion of correctional centers.
Restorative justice aims at repairing the harm caused by offenders in the society. It is achieved through a cooperative process involving the offender, the offended, and the community.
With the political will and the institutional buy-in increasing day by day, key players in the justice sector believe that the society will be the ultimate beneficiary. In Abuja, Olabodarewa, NTA News.
One of the frontline support groups on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC National Integrity Movement, has continued to galvanize support ahead of a formidable structure for 2023 presidency. Determined to sustaining the gains recorded by APC beyond 2023, the group is pitching tents with party bigwigs to develop effective roadmap ahead of future victories. At a meeting with the senator representing Nasarawa South, Umaru Tankwal Makura, the group says it will strengthen collaboration with party chieftains for guidance.
Excellency, sir. One is for us to promote the legacy of our party. APC as a party has done a lot for this country. APC as a party has brought a lot of developmental projects, courtesy of APC. Second one, Your Excellency, is for us to promote and protect the legacy of this administration. Because there is no way we can go into any election without people referring us to our successes.
Our task will be lessened because this support group, some of them have already been there. They have been working towards the success of our leaders, and they'll find it already a beaten path if we go through them to ensure that this campaign is carried out to the nooks and crannies of this country. I pray that God Almighty will carry our effort to success as we inch towards the election.
The former governor encouraged the group to remain steadfast and committed to the party vision and prepare to face campaign and next year general election in line with the new Electoral Act. African Democratic Congress ADC has appointed Dr. Mani Ibrahim Ahmed, a presidential aspirant in 2015, as chairman of the party's board of trustees. Dr. Mani emerged as the party's BOT chairman at the end of Emergency National Working Committee and critical stakeholders meeting of the party.
It is now that the party has grown, that other people are beginning to put interest and want to come in and want to destabilize the party. Their campaign structures and move into win votes.
The party also suspended former National Vice Chairman Northeast Ibrahim Manzo and 17 state chairmen for anti-party activities and utterances aimed at bringing the party's image to disrepute. African Democratic Congress urges all party executives at the wards, local government, and state levels to build enduring party structures at the grassroots ahead of the takeoff of campaigns. It also encourages party candidates at all levels not to be distracted by the activities of few members, but remain focused ahead of the 2023 general elections. As Nigeria prepares for a smooth transition after the 2023 general elections, a frontline politician, Senator Florence Itagiwa, and the National Publicity Secretary of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, Bishop Ima Isong, are advising journalists to set agenda for political gladiators on issue-based campaigns, not ethnicity or religion. They gave the admonition at the post-NUJ Cross River State Council election Thanksgiving service in Calabar. Ode Alenyo completes the story.
Other stakeholders on the profession emphasize that to achieve a feat in good governance and nation building, journalists must be objective, factual, without bias in their sense of judgment in all reportage.
Journalists, they know their role, first of all. Politically, they should sensitize our electorate towards 2023.
Others urge journalists to shun gratifications in all ramifications and provide a level playing ground for all candidates as the country moves towards the 2023 general elections.
Religion should not be the issue in this election. It's about offering us good leadership in the country. And then we should be able, as journalists, to question those that are aspiring to lead us. What can they do for us?
I charge them to be sincere, faithful, and honest to their calling.
Journalists on our own should be neutral umpires in this election coming 2023.
The respondent reminded journalists to sustain the tempo of pace setters by refusing to promote ethnicity and religion in the political spheres of the country. In Calabar, Ode Aleño, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. It's time to take another break. More stories when we come back.
Sees that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress.
Like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion.
Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment.
With the cooperation of all.
Sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondence, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. Another cap has been added to wives of Kebbi and Zamfara state governors, Dr. Zainab Bagudu and Zainab Bello Matawale, by the United Nations Children's Fund for championing the domestication of the Child Rights Act in their respective states. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim has details.
Since the enactment of the Child Rights Act in 2003, 24 out of the 36 states of the Federation have so far domesticated the law. Some state government and individuals are already championing the implementation of the same.
a lot of stumbles, but I must say that we are very appreciative of the support that we received from the UNICEF team in ironing out the technicalities.
Today's State Child Protection Law has come to stay, and we are proud to be among other states in the Federation.
Considering their cultural and religious peculiarities, the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF identified spouses of Kebbi and Zamfara state governors for their work toward the well-being of women and children in their domains.
What is equally more important here is the implementation and then making sure the articles contained therein, children really enjoy and benefit those rights in those states.
We know that the challenges that we have in this country, a dynamic country with a young population, there's a lot of challenges, and particularly when we focus on girls, and what you are doing, the way you are leading this portfolio and the agenda for children and for girls, it is absolutely remarkable.
Beyond domestication, implementation is key, and more states are expected to raise the bar towards the cause of women and children in Nigeria. Salwa Khalil, NTA News.
To harness the rich cultural resources of the nation and address challenges of social integration, there is the need to promote indigenous languages from cradle to facilitate respect for the African identity. This was the take-home for participants of a one-month intensive language program at the instance of the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. Elizabeth Omoriri reports.
Steps that define our identity. Michelle, 12, is a multilingualist. To promote this art of communication and strengthen language security, informed this intensive language training for instructors, students, and custodians of culture.
All hands must be on deck to ensure that our indigenous languages are promoted at all levels of social interaction. The responsibility should not be left for the government alone. Parents, the media, and relevant stakeholders must play their role to save our languages, indigenous languages, from extinction.
It is important that we know at least one language of another ethnic group, because it is important for us to associate as part of our unity to understand that.
Extinction of language, UNESCO insists, would lead to loss of cultural knowledge, which could threaten security. As language takes a number of important roles in nation building, NICO advocates respect for individual cultural identity. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
China is a clear example of how tourism and culture can revitalize a nation's economy and perhaps be a standard that could be adopted by Nigeria. This formed part of the talking points between Chinese and Nigerian delegates at the launch of the 2022 Chinese Tourism and Cultural Week in Abuja. Ekene Dulue reports.
For over 50 years, Nigeria and China have had close bilateral relations. A statute on culture and tourism was recently signed by both countries with the intent of improving person-to-person relationship and strengthening diplomatic ties. It is the Chinese Culture and Tourism Week, another opportunity for China to showcase how far they have gone in that sector.
I'm fully convinced that if both China and Nigeria continue to work together to push forward our two countries' cooperation in many fields, including tourism and culture, a brighter future and a fruitful result must belong to us.
For the Nigerian delegation, much needs to be done to replicate the Chinese success story here in Nigeria.
We encourage investors to come into this country and help us as well so that we can move hand in hand with the Chinese government.
The over 50 years bilateral relationship between China and Nigeria has really provided us with a lot of experience for us to learn.
The annual event will see China amplify its potentials in the culture and tourism industry. Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Technical and vocational education has received a major boost in Ekiti State with over $700,000 World Bank-assisted project. The State Governor Kayode Fayemi, while flagging off the distribution of checks to 3 government technical colleges in the state, said the fund is to enhance equipment and learning infrastructure in the 3 institutions. Kola Adebubui reports.
The innovation, development and effectiveness in the acquisition of skills and this project, we intervene in government technical colleges in Igbarado Ekiti, Ijero Ekiti and Otun Ekiti to expand and improve support for the youth to acquire the required technical and digital skills in the formal and informal sectors. Governor Fayemi said the project developed to enhance the capacity of the Nigerian skills development system to produce relevant skills for the private and public sectors. Believes the initiative will promote youth enrollment in skills development programs to increase diversified economy as well as equip them with skills. He, however, noted that the success of the project depends on the perception of Ekiti people and corrected the wrong impression in some quarters that technical colleges are meant for dropout, but rather a place to acquire vocational and technical education.
To be institution where individuals that are products of this institution are fully equipped with skills in specific trade that they can then utilize in order to make a living.
6 states, 1 each from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, are participating in the project to promote sustainable development in addressing the skills gap between the formal and informal sectors. In Ado Ekiti, Kola Adebubui, NTA News.
Up next is sports with Kene Emagbodike.
Super Falcons continue their build-up to next year's